Hello.
My name is Rehab. This is my name, Rehab Kimachut, and this is my sign name. So I work here at Fedwin as the program assistant. Feel free and feel welcome, Denis. So kindly introduce yourself.
First and foremost, thank you so much. My name is Denis Mugambi, and this is my sign name. I'm deaf. Thank you.
That's nice. So right now, can you tell me more about yourself, Denis?
Thanks once again. I'm a deaf person. I became deaf at the age of 2 because I developed mumps. At the age of 7, that's when I went to the school for the deaf. Kerugoya School for the deaf. It was the best school in Africa. Even in the world, they recognized it. My parents took me to school. Before that, I did not know sign language. And students were signing in school, in Kerugoya School for the deaf, from nursery up to the class 8. I did my examinations and I passed very well. So when I joined Reverend Tomorrow School for the deaf, I proceeded in my education. There was sign language, Kenyan Sign Language. From Form 1 to Form 4, I completed my examinations and I joined the University of Nairobi. I attained C+ in the national examinations. I was a brilliant student. I was always in the top in my class. Because of the support I was given by my parents through love, their willingness to allow me to learn sign, they were willing to learn sign language even from the time I was a child. So my mother undertook the responsibility of going to Kenya School of Education to learn sign language because she had a deaf son. And then in class 2, when I was in Kerugoya School for the deaf, when the school was closed, there was Thanksgiving that time. I remember in the term, there used to be training of parents in Kenyan Sign Language so that they could communicate. So my parents would go to school to learn sign language. And then after, whenever schools were closed, we used to interact with my father. My parents showed me love. They were always active in my life. They taught me very many things, and both of them are teachers. They supported and encouraged me. My mother always said that when you ask God, everything that you want in your life will be accomplished. My father will tell me, be strong, always be ready to face the world, be ready to do what the world demands. When I went to school, the Reverend Tomorrow School for the Deaf, I completed my education, and then I attended the University of Nairobi. I was passionate to study economics and statistics at the University of Nairobi. And then I went there to try to fight, to lobby so that I could join the university, but they were reluctant. They said, how could you do economics and statistics and you're deaf? Then later on, I was given a second option. I went home. Then I decided to pursue the Bachelor of Arts in Psychology and Conflict. For 4 years, I completed my undergraduate. I graduated in the year 2018 at the University of Nairobi. It is the best university probably in Eastern Africa. And then I went back to study my master's in human rights. So I'm almost done with my project. I'm set to graduate this year. I got scholarship through Crystal Kabar Foundation from the United Kingdom. They're sponsoring me for this master's program. So I'm thankful for the scholarship as well. Thank you.
Wow, that's really nice. The education really was good and interesting. So you say that you became deaf at the age of 2 years old and you attended school when you were 7 years old. So I'm wondering, when you entered school, did you learn sign language by yourself? Were you taught? Did you just start signing?
When I became deaf, I did not acquire sign language. The parents took me to school, so I used to be taught, to be supported through teaching. There was no language foundation. So myself, I would be communicating with people and then learning from there.
So was it the teacher who taught you sign language, or was the teacher deaf or hearing?
Firstly, in Kerugoya, no, it was a mix. We had two teachers. We had the hearing teachers and we also had the deaf teachers. Both teachers understood sign language. They were like deaf role models. There was a deaf teacher who really inspired me. And during Parents' Day, in class 1, there was a teacher from Kise who came to lecture, gave a speech to us. Pandurumo said, Professor Ndurumo, that was his name. Deaf role model, he inspired me. He encouraged me because I saw he was a professor and a deaf person and he could sign. And we also had two teachers who were role models. So they would advise me that I can do anything that I want in the society.
Wow, that's really nice. So from what you've shared, you said that you went to Kerugoya School for the Deaf, which is the best school in Kenya. Wow. Could you please explain to me a bit more? Why is Kerugoya the best school? Why did you say that?
Thank you for the question. Actually, I stay in Africa and Kenya because, most of the members of the deaf community, the students, go to that school and it motivates people. The teachers know how to sign. Many schools, most teachers don't know how to sign, but the teachers there sign very well. And also the deaf teachers are role models. The staff members, even the people who work in the kitchen, we have no communication. We had no communication barrier. Communication was there and we could bridge the gap between the deaf and the hearing as opposed to other deaf schools. And also we used to be encouraged, motivated. We used to socialize together, sing as members of one society, and then say, wow. On Saturdays, sometimes would come, even from the association, Kenya National Association of the Deaf, they would come even annually to our school. Even many deaf people used to come for symposium in our schools, and different heads of different departments. So, I saw that these are deaf people. This is a school producing great deaf people. And also the school was well resourced in terms of books, stationery, and also well funded, well supported. No students will be chased away from school, So we had a lot of funding in terms of resources like books and other things. That is the first thing. And also it's where I acquired my first sign language skills.
So from what you've shared, you say that at the time you finished your Form 4, you got a C pass, which is really beautiful. And when you went to university, you wanted to study statistics. But when you entered the university, they were like, no, it's impossible to do that as an option. You either stay home or you learn psychology as an alternative to what you wanted to learn. So did you feel that you are forced, or did that alternative decision be okay with you because you had no option? Because like you said, your heart really wanted to choose statistics.
First, I can say I had no option because my goal, was to attend the university. First, I wanted to ensure that, being the only deaf person, let me attend the university and let me learn the hearing students, because I schooled with the deaf from primary all to high school. I passed, so I was the only deaf person joining this institution. So I accepted it as an option because I never had an option. My mission was to join the university. Being a deaf person, let me enter the university. That was key to me. So I really lobbied for that. And I said, I have to sweat for it. I have to sacrifice. That this is my life. This is where I'm going to attain my skills and education. Yes.
Nice. So when you finished university, you graduated. And from there, what's next for you?
The university empowered me to change the society through my education. I'm a person with disability. I've worked with different private as well as public entities in like 8 organizations: the National Council of Persons with Disabilities, Kenya Institute of Public Policy and Research, the VSO, the RPP. My objective was to advocate where the gaps are, to minimize the gap between persons with disabilities as well as people in the mainstream society, to fight for accessibility. Secondly, throughout my works with the different organizations, I've had materials all to do with the creation of awareness for persons with disabilities.
Oh, really nice. So those are very many different organizations that you worked with. I like that experience. So when you worked at the National Council of Persons with Disabilities, what was your position and what was your work and what did you achieve? Let us know something that you achieved that impacted us.
When I joined the National Council after the university, I worked as a disability mainstream intern for a period of a year. Then I learned about advocacy, disability mainstreaming, and the policy that will influence the public, respect. And I had a deaf boss by the name Bartolomeo Agemo. He mentored me on work ethics and different ways of working and serving people. So I learned that for a period of a year, and then I moved to Kipra and also went to VSO, where my task was to deal with mentorship in disability. There was a project we had which was called Deafness. It was about equality and and we also added family planning to it. We worked across 17 diverse counties. So Deafness had a sponsorship from UK. We worked for a period of 5 years, and the goal was specifically targeting 3 categories: the rural women, the youth, and persons with disabilities. Our objective was to increase methods of family planning and information to persons with disabilities, because we had barriers in regard to accessibility of information. We had poverty, communication barrier, oppression. So when I went to work in VSO, ours was to eradicate the barriers through policies. And in VSO, we actually had a policy, mainstreaming policy, social inclusion framework that was to help different public and private organizations, where the objective was to create awareness for persons with disabilities. And specifically, I targeted the deaf women, because most deaf women are vulnerable. They are the most vulnerable group in the society, and they live in a silent world. So advocacy was needed to see to it that we penetrate those 19 counties, just doing lobbying, advocacy, and spreading accessibility. We did health works and train people on how to communicate with the deaf through basic sign language whenever they would go to the hospitals, how they will serve them. So there was 2 reasons that inspired us. We had privacy issues. Sometimes there are issues of confidentiality, where someone wants to attend the hospital and the nurse cannot communicate with them. Maybe they may not want other people. So we wanted to improve the quality of service, because you see, the Constitution has provided, it insists on high quality standards for all citizens, including persons with disabilities. That includes the youth, the rural women.
Wow, that's really nice. I just want to pick one area that you mentioned, that in your advocacy, looking at the vulnerable groups, especially the deaf women and girls, family planning services, your goal was to ensure that the deaf really do get quality access to healthcare. The nurses should know sign language. So could you please tell me where the areas of hospitals that you trained these nurses so that these access open to us? Maybe just mention some hospitals that you feel that the deaf can enter and be served well, because there's a means of communication. It could not be in Nairobi, but maybe in other counties.
Thank you. See, the training of sign language skills in the 18 counties actually target 4 regions: Coast, specifically Mombasa and Kilifi. We moved to Northeastern, Wajir, Garissa, Marsabit. We escalated it to North Rift regions. We covered about 7 regions, including Turkana, Samburu, Masai, Kajiado, Teso. I could name many. We went to several places, and also South Nyanza. Went to Homa Bay. We went to public and private hospitals. For instance, in Mombasa, we went to the public hospitals there. We focused on family planning services through sign language and accessibility of free services without cost. So those are different areas where we targeted. So all hospitals, we used to add IEC materials where we used to advertise. And also we went to the nurses, we taught them basic sign language as well as the doctors so that they could communicate. Thank you.
Wow, that's nice. I just wanted to get a clarity. Right now you're doing your master's in human rights. I'm wondering, at the university, how are you learning? Do you have a sign language interpreter assigned to you? Or do you learn by yourself and copy notes from other students?
Thank you. When I went to do my BA, in my first year, I was not assigned an interpreter. So I wrote a letter to the university, to the Association of the Deaf, to write a letter to the university, because initially there was a student who used to sit beside me called Manuel, with another lady called Susan. Those were my classmates. I used to copy notes from them. I used to jot down, but it was challenging to copy the notes. But later on, I could just read using the resources that the lecturers would give me, the notes. So after that, I finished with an interpreter. Later on, I managed. There was a time I wrote a letter to the university explaining my case that I'm deaf, and then 2 interpreters were onboarded. I completed, and here I am pursuing my master's degree. My research project is almost done, and I'm set to graduate later this year.
Oh, congratulations, that is very nice. So I would like to know about your private life. Are you married?
Thank you. The question is a bit sensitive. Okay. Well, I can say I'm single. Yes. Any person who has interest of marrying, no, people have various reasons. Some people say that this person is deaf. We still have a right to marry. I can marry a hearing person, I can marry a deaf person, whatever. I'm open to marrying any person, but sometimes I intend to marry a deaf person because it will ease in communication. I think that will be nice to me.
Wow, that's nice. So right now I just want to ask you, you want to be a role model to other deaf people in the community. Is there any message that you want to send out there?
My focus will be parents who have children who are deaf. Show them love. First, invest in your children. Do not be worried because of their deafness. Give them the proper school support. That means even schooling. And firstly, learn sign language as well. Sign with your children and they will succeed. And to the deaf children themselves, work hard to be what you want to become in life. Thirdly, to the deaf women out there, I got my scholarship from UK. I'm the first deaf person to be sponsored. But through Crystal Kamba Foundation, here I am pursuing my master's. So every year I get support. And also to other persons with disabilities, but specifically now the deaf girls. You can also apply for this scholarship, www.crystalkamba.foundation, and you'll get the opportunities. And to the general deaf, to the deaf out there, work with the Fedwin. They have a lot of information concerning your rights, your basic rights, even women's rights. We have several issues to do with reproductive health, accessibility to all diverse issues. My plea is to the deaf, especially the deaf women. We have had negative experiences. You have faced a lot of gender-based violence issues back at home, in the community, and other areas. So, to the Federation of Deaf Women in Kenya, deal with the human rights, specifically SRH issues, sexual and reproductive health issues, the training that you can do to the deaf girls to create awareness about diverse issues. And with this 5 years plan going forward, it will be, and also to see to it that we have a vision for the Federation. Invest a lot in the society. What can I say? Inclusion for deaf people is good. We all enjoy it. Equality in terms of opportunity as well.
Perfect. Last question. You as Denis looked intently at your story and I've seen the success that you've had. So can you please tell us what made you focus and achieve what you have done for the others to look at and see and get the same motivation?
About four things. Believe in yourself, who you are. Accept yourself. Add God first. Thirdly, work hard. And also, build your networks in life and in society. From home, across different areas, school, church, build networks, and you will succeed in this society. Thank you.
That's really nice. I think we are done with this interview. We really want to thank you a lot for sharing your story. And I believe that people who watch you can borrow something and a leap or two and how to focus to achieve their objectives. I believe your story will help others out there, the deaf there, to believe in themselves as well. Thank you for your time and welcome.